Yesterday, the Detroit Lions made a big-time move, but already there are some fans that are questioning whether or not it was a mistake. And in this episode here, I'm going to let it all hang out. We're going to talk about it, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. So, folks, I'm going to tell you something right now. This is an episode where I am not going to try and disguise my anger. I'm not going to try and disguise my disappointment. I'm not going to try and disguise what I'm feeling. Because I'm going to say this right now. All offseason, the vast majority of Lions fans have been wanting Holmes to make moves. They've been wanting him to bring in players. They've been wanting him to show a commitment to getting to that highest and most desired prize, which is obviously the Super Bowl. Whether it's, oh, hey, what players are you going to bring in for draft visits? Hey, who are you going to be potentially trading for? Hey, who are you going to be signing in free agency? We've heard it all damn offseason. And with the draft actually happening today, thank God at least part of that problem is about to alleviate itself. And all offseason, a vast majority of fans have whined and complained. They've moaned and groaned about how Holmes has done little to nothing and has set the team back or has pretty much kept the team almost exactly where it was by not making any big-time moves. However, though, that in of itself is not true. It's a lie. The Lions already made at least one big-time move when they decided to sign cornerback DJ Reed to replace Carlton Davis, a guy that is better than Carlton Davis, a guy that we got for substantially less money, and is a better fit not only in terms of culture, but in better fit in terms of what the defense is looking for. But yesterday, as we already know, the Lions made a big-time move to extend and keep safety Kirby Joseph in town by giving him a 4-year, $86 million contract, in which, I'm going to say this, the average, although not accurate to the actual yearly breakdown because we don't know what that is just yet, of $21.5 million. So, you would think that that move would make fans for the Detroit Lions fandom almost universally ecstatic at the news. But I'm going to tell you something, the reaction that some fans are giving is actually kind of shocking. Some fans took the news the correct way, in that, hey, the Lions locked down not only one of their best safeties, correct me, I'm going to correct myself here. They not only signed one of the best safeties in the NFL, they locked him down, but they also kept one of their core pieces for the next 4 years, plus they have the remaining 1 year of his rookie contract. So they've got Kirby Joseph now in the building as a Detroit Lion for the next 5 years. But others, the ones that I'm talking about that are the central component of this episode, they saw the news in a very negative way by saying, oh, well, the Lions now have ensured that someone else is going to have to not get a contract, that somebody is going to have to be, let go because we just simply don't have the money. Everyone's now saying, well, not everyone, at least some people that are in this category that I'm talking about, they're now saying, oh, well, now who do we have to let go? Who are we not going to be able to keep? Wait a minute here. My response to all of this is, are you freaking serious? Like, seriously, are you freaking serious? You have fans that are now getting negative about this move, and it's like, dude, how can you be so damn short-sighted? You complain that Holmes has done nothing virtually all offseason, and then he makes a big-time investment to keep one of our best players, and you seriously now want to complain about it? Like, dude, I can't believe the reality I'm having to live in right now. I'm just going to tell you this. when you're talking about keeping good players, honest to goodness good players, players that every other team would love to have their hands to, potentially have on their team, I'm just going to give you a news flash here. Those types of players, they're going to cost money. Money is going to be what they're going to require to keep in the building. It ain't just going to be well wishes. It ain't going to be the loyalty from fans, all that. That's part of it. But they're going to need money. And they're going to need a lot of money. So when you're thinking about the amount of money the Lions gave Kirby Joseph, it's a good deal. Considering the fact that if Kirby Joseph were to go out on the free agent market right now, I would have no doubt in my mind he could have probably asked for 20, 30 million more dollars. That's how good Kirby Joseph has played over the last 3 years. The guy is a freaking interception ball hawk. I mean, when you finish last year and as a safety, you have 9 interceptions, which, let me just put this for you, which is more than some guys get in 3 or 4 years. And you now want to complain, oh, well, you know what? We now don't have the money to potentially pay all these other guys because we gave this much money to Kirby Joseph. I'm sorry. I just am like, I'm dumbfounded. I'm flabbergasted. Because I'm going to put this out there. While some are thinking that the Lions are trying to set themselves up for failure by handing out this big contract and that they're not able to, re-sign or extend all these other guys, I would like to remind those people of this very huge and easily proven fact. When has Brad Holmes ever put the Lions in a position other than for success? Think about it. From the moment he's walked into the building until now, Brad Holmes has made the Lions a team that can have success. He's done it every single year. And furthermore, when has Holmes ever put the Lions roster or their finances in danger or trouble? Oh, that's right. Never. I refuse to listen or give credence to these doomsday prophets when it comes to the Lions because they simply will not use, they simply refuse to adhere to logic or reason. Because let's analyze the facts as we know them right now at the time I'm recording this. Number one, we don't currently have the breakdown of what the Lions' contract is for Kirby Joseph. Let's just understand it for what it is. Contracts are not a simple matter of just dollar figures and years. There's much more that goes into that. They're immensely more complicated than that. There are things like void years, regular bonuses, performance bonuses, workout bonuses, roster bonuses. There's a whole lot of other stuff that goes into this nonsense that we don't know just yet. And I'm telling you this right now, without knowing the full breakdown of the contract details and where the money's getting spent, when it's getting spent, you have no idea what that is actually going to, cause or have an effect on the salary cap. There's no way you could know. So if you don't know, what damn sense is there in worrying about something that most likely won't happen? Because, again, like I just asked, when has Brad Holmes ever seriously put this team in jeopardy? When has he ever made a decision that leaves us just completely open and, vulnerable to something going bad? Oh, again, the answer is never. Brad Holmes is immensely careful about how he handles this roster and he handles the finances. That's point number one. Point number two, since we're talking about salary cap, since we have fans out there that are oh so worried about it, let me just clue y'all into something. The salary cap is going to likely take another massive jump this upcoming fiscal year. Let me just all remind y'all something, because fans want to talk about the here and now. Okay, that's fine. But what fans are not keeping relevant in this extremely well-known fact in the proper perspective of what it is that, hey, the salary cap over the last 4 years has just absolutely been a mind-boggling just thing to watch how much it's jumped. If you go back to 2021, the salary cap was listed at $182.5 million. You then go to 2022, it jumped up to $208.2 million. That is almost a $26 million jump. Actually, if you want to be even more specific about it, it was a 14.08% jump. The following year, in 2023, it jumped up to $224.8 million. That was another $16.6 million jump, or almost another 8% jump, 7.97% to be exact. Then you go to 2024, jumps up to $255.4 million, jumped up a whopping $30.6 million, another 13.61%. And then for this year, 2025, it jumps up to $279.2 million, another $23.8 million jump. And another, more specifically, more, percentage-wise, 9.32% jump. If you want to think about that and do the actual math or just want to hear me say it, that is a total gain of over 4 years of $96.7 million. 44.98% jump from 2021 until now. So you're going to want to try and tell me that somehow the salary cap is not going to be able to provide a substantial boost to counteract the Lions spending, which, hey, let's understand something here. We have to spend because of the players that we have. We want to keep those core players in town. We want to keep the guys that we have invested in, that we've built around, rather than doing what some other teams have been doing over the last couple of years, which, oh, that's right. What have they been doing? They've been spending on other teams' sloppy seconds or thirds because, rather than drafting players and developing them that way, they would rather go into free agency and spend all their money there, aka the Bears. Or we have other teams that are like, hey, you know what? Let's go out and get this guy that used to be a great player. Let's go out and get this guy that's an old has-been and hope and pray he's got something left in the tank. So you would rather potentially go into the free agency market and take a risk on something that you may or may not know you're going to get, rather than, wait a minute here, Brad Holmes' track record in the drafting process speaks for itself. And when you take a look at the results that he's gotten from said draft process, it makes a hell of a lot more sense. It's a hell of a lot smarter to pay the guys that have actually shown up, that have developed and have gotten what the Lions want from them. So again, when we're talking about the salary cap in about 2026, based upon what I just said, over the last 4 years, the salary cap has almost jumped up $100 million, 45% in comparison to where it was in freaking 2021. I'm telling you this right now. I believe that in 2026, the salary cap is going to have another massive jump, probably another jump of 20 plus million, maybe even 25 plus million. Now, speaking of salary cap, that brings me to point number 3. How about rollover cap? The fact, again, that some people are forgetting about this, much like how they forgot about the salary cap in terms of, hey, you know what? Even though we want to talk about the fact that the Lions, according to, I don't even remember which one was, Spot Rack or Over the Cap, the Lions only have $5 million for next year. Or I don't know, it might be less than that now. But yet, nobody wants to talk about the supposed jump about what the salary cap could be for next year. And nobody is talking about the fact that, that's right, in the NFL, if you have unspent cap from the previous year, you can roll that over into the next year. The fact no one's talking about that from this crowd is just laughable. Because let's think about this here. When you have people that want to have these supposed doom theories that the Lions are not going to have the money to supposedly keep the players that they still have to pay, such as Gibbs, such as Laporta, such as Branch, such as Hutch, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You're forgetting the fact that the Lions can roll over cap because, wait a minute here, how much money could the Lions roll over from last year going into this year? That's right. They had almost $24 million. It actually came out specifically to $23,638,725 in cap space that they could roll over. Whether or not the Lions used all that and rolled it over, I don't know. But that is a sheer ridiculous amount of money. And even if you want to talk about the cap implications of what the contract was for Kirby Joseph, and you want to talk about the draft class that's coming up, there's no way the Lions went from $43 million where they're at right now, which is third most in the NFL, to, supposedly now we don't even have, half of that. There's not a chance in hell. So again, you want to try and tell me, you want to try and prophesy, you want to try and give this picture that somehow Holmes is not going to use a similar tactic to roll over money to inflate the Lions' coffers, that somehow that's just escaped his notice. I'm sorry. If you think that, you'd be nuts. And then there's a fourth and final thing to factor in with this. What is that other word that NFL teams like to use when it comes to contracts? Oh, that's right. They can restructure deals. What many people want to forget is that due to the Lions' culture, the grit culture, they have built that the Lions have instilled in their player personnel that being selfish is not an acceptable attitude to have. The acceptable attitude to have is a team attitude, a team culture, not we. So think about that. Not only have the Lions instilled that, but the players accept it and they embrace it. The Lions, if they felt the need to do it, which maybe they will, maybe they won't, I can't tell you. But I can tell you this, if they felt the need to ask players, hey, would you be willing to restructure your contract to potentially free up some space so that way we could have the money to sign guys that we still need to without it really hurting us? I have no doubt in my mind that the Lions would have plenty of players that would be willing to restructure their contracts because, that's right, they do have that. I mean, they have Goff, they have Amon-Ra St. Brown, they have Decker, they have McNeil, they have Sewell. If they go to any number of those guys and ask them to restructure their contracts so that way it would free up some cap space, I guarantee you this, they would have no problem finding a way to restructure those deals. So think about it. The Lions can restructure deals. The Lions can roll over salary cap. The Lions also have the salary cap that's going to jump going into 2026. And on top of that, just like I said in the very first point that I had, we don't know what the contract breakdown fully is. So you got all these people out here that are just seeing, it's an $86 million contract. We only have $5 million next year in cap. We're in trouble. Based on what? There's no evidence to support that the Lions are in trouble. And if you go based off of all the evidence of years past, that couldn't be farther from the truth. Because as I've said, Holmes does not put this team or our salary cap in jeopardy. He just doesn't. So to think that this new contract is completely a detriment to the Lions and will wreck their chances to either acquire or keep the talent they already have is ludicrous. And I think fans that think this way or have a similar thought process are, again, letting fear predicate and lead them rather than using thought and reason. Just saying. But anyway, before I end this episode, I'm also going to answer this question. I know some people are wondering whether or not I'm going to live stream tonight and cover the draft. I am definitely going to, but I will say this, because of my other obligations to the military, I'm probably not going to be able to do it until later on during the night. I'm not going to be done with my work until about 8 o'clock, so I might be able to get on until about 8:15 or something like that. I should, so long as the Lions don't trade up, which I'm not saying I don't want them to, but I'm just saying if they don't, I should still be able to cover the Lions draft pick, obviously give you guys my thoughts and opinions about other draft picks that have happened prior to me getting on being live, and also the ones that I'm able to actually cover live. But yes, I will be covering the draft tonight. I don't know how I'm going to be able to cover the other couple of days. I'll let you know as I find out how that's going to all work out, but I wanted to let you guys know that for certain. But having said that, I'm going to end this episode and say thank you all for watching in another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to tune into tonight's live stream when I obviously have a chance to do so. And I also want to say this, if you like what you saw, by all means, make sure you do one of these three things, whether it's like, comment, or subscribe. If you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, I also want to highly encourage y'all, please, make sure you hit that bell notification icon so that way you never miss any more content I push out. Also encourage y'all, please, to share the content content. And with that, I hope I was able to maybe either open up some eyes to what's going on here, maybe give you guys some different viewpoints, also to alleviate some of those fears and, different viewpoints that people had about this whole conversation. That's what I truly try to do with my episodes, whether it's the first time you've watched me or you guys have been watching me forever today. Hope everybody has something in their life that makes them happy, makes them smile. Whether you're going to be watching the Pistons game tonight or the draft, I'm pretty sure there's going to be plenty of smiles in Detroit fandom. And I also want to say this. I just want to say, hey, until the next time we meet, God bless, go Lions, and I'll see you all in the next episode.